If you manage to find my wife safe and sound, I'll throw in another 10 million.
So, a grand total of 32 million?
Hey, Aniki, just checking. I'm being paid 50,000 today, right?
Yeah, 50,000 for serving some damn tea. Got a problem?
Oh no, it's fine. Now I see where all that generosity is coming from.
Can you give me some more details? I was under the impression she went missing.
Well, I lost her about 2 years ago. She took her own life.
I see. I'm very sorry. Let me rephrase then. You want us to find her, even though you know she passed away?
Yes, well... Why don't I start from the time she died? 2 years ago, my wife left a suicide note at home one day and disappeared. As you can imagine, I went right to the police. But upon finding nothing, she was declared a missing person. 6 months later, they recovered a body, possibly my wife's, on a riverbed in the mountains of Chiba. There's a large waterfall nearby, from which she likely jumped. Her body was decomposed beyond recognition, but authorities later identified her based on something she was carrying.
And what was that?
A photograph. In it was her and our son.
I see. But was that really enough to ID her? Wouldn't they have done some sort of analysis?
Yes. I requested a DNA test be performed. Lo and behold, my wife was a near-perfect match.
Then, at that point, her death was all but certain. Yet, you still believe she's alive?
About a month ago, my wife's friend said she saw someone in Kamurocho that looked like her. This woman, according to my wife's friend, was with some unfamiliar man. And when the friend called out her name, she froze. Then she immediately fled.
Is it possible this was all just a coincidence?
Believe me, I'd considered that. The DNA test had more or less cemented her death in my mind. But then I started doing my own research, and I found that DNA test results aren't always set in stone. Especially in cases where the body's in an advanced state of decomposition, the results can vary widely. I even came across an astonishing article in which someone's lost relative showed up after a DNA test said they died. After reading that, who wouldn't have hoped that their dear wife is still somewhere out there? Mind you, this woman was the spitting image of my wife. Her voice was a perfect match too. And this is coming from a friend who's known her for years. As she herself put it, there's no way it wasn't her.
By the way, may we request any photos of your wife you may have? Sir?
I've actually approached other detectives about this, but none of them could turn up any leads. Then I heard you were working as a detective, in Kamurocho no less. Immediately I thought to myself, if anyone can find my wife, it's him. Considering how well acquainted you are.
Huh? You saying I know her?
Oh. Aniki, isn't that...
Mikiko?
Yes. Mikiko Natsume was her maiden name. I understand you used to live together long ago. And that sums up why I'm here. because of how intimately you know her.
You're really going to go?
After what they did to the boss, I can't just sit back and do nothing.
But you might actually get killed this time.
I'm sorry.
So your family is more important than me.
Believe me, I understand how bizarre this request might be. But I know you can get to the bottom of it. You lived with Mikiko in this very town. You knew her better than anyone. Kaito-san, I'm begging you. Won't you bring her back?
I'd heard rumors, but I never thought they'd be true. Sadamoto-san, are you sure Mikiko took her own life?
I mean, she did leave a suicide note.
Why, though? The Mikiko I knew would never do that, no matter what the reason.
Honestly, I wish I knew. The note was sparse on details.
The hell does that mean? Aren't you supposed to be her husband?
For what my memory's worth, Mikiko seemed to have some anxieties about her job. And I was so busy with my own work at the time, I failed to give her support. I was hardly even home half the time. It was only when she left me that I realized how poorly I treated her.
So, let's say Mikiko is alive. Then what? It's gonna be one big happy reunion?
I don't really have an answer for that. I doubt she'd even want to look at me. But then again, we do have our son to consider. He's 14 already. His name's June.
So, Mikiko's got a kid and everything.
Yes. And he's just as rambunctious as his mother. He took off once he heard she might be alive. Even though I specifically told him to stay put, the moment my back was turned, he was gone.
Wait, he ran away?
He did. About 2 weeks ago. I thought he might pull something like this, so I set up location tracking on his phone. But, being that he left his phone in his room, he must have figured that out. Outsmarted by a teenager, I swear.
2 weeks on his own at his age? At 14, he's what, in middle school?
June pulls this kind of stunt all the time. He hangs out with these delinquents, often couch surfing for days at a time. Of course, I'm one to talk. Since most days, I miss the last train. And since I'm at a hotel, I won't even be home to notice he's gone.
Well, how about that?
Look, that's all beside the point. Right now, I need your help.
Hate to break it to you, Sadamoto-san, but I don't think I'm your guy.
What? May I ask how come?
I just don't think I'm cut out for it, is all.
Come now.
That's final.
Fine. Fine. I know when a mind's made up. What a shame that is.
Aniki, you sure you want to let this guy go? That's 32 mil walking away. Not to mention the truth about Mikiko.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay, you're the boss.
Well, another job down the shitter. I think that calls for a drink.
You, want somebody to tag along?
Sure, but weren't you slammed with the new opening and all?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's work to be done. I'd have to go inspect the place after.
Right. Then you better go deal with that. Glad to hear business is good, though.
Sorry about that, Aniki.
Oh, and about that 50 grand I owe you.
Don't even worry about it. Tea was on the house today, man. When my Aniki says pour, I serve the best damn cup you ever tried. That shit hasn't changed.
Oh, Higashi. You wonderful bastard.
Huh? Hey, Aniki, that photo.
Damn it. Don't just leave your junk in my office. Should I just toss it? Well, wouldn't be the first gig I tossed. Better head on down to Tender and see what else Masuda's got brewing.